Good morning. So I'm going to stand in the middle because I've always wanted to be at TEDx. And Joseph is the man that has pushed me to be here. Thank you very much. It's a pleasure being here. My name is, My name is CEO of Ating, right? We just use wisdom because of peer pressure, It's easier for people to pronounce. But in the past couple of months, I've become very, very passionate about Africa and telling African stories. And one of the ways to do that is to tell you my real name, right? So my name is Ating. I'm from Akwa Ibom State. I'm Nigerian, I'm African, and I'm proud. Yes, a lot of lights, a lot of faces. I see a lot of celebrities. Honored to be, the guy is looking. Honored to be amongst all of you. But in a very short time, I'm going to be speaking on something that I'm very passionate about, and that's business, more so African business. I don't know if my slides can be up. I wasn't sure how this was going to go. I don't have this energy. It has all of those pull and push, please. But just a quick question, while I hope they can put my slides up, I don't know how that is supposed to work. He was saying men, and I could see a lot of people in this gender-sensitive world now thinking, why just men? Why just men? I think he meant men and women. And I like something about Africa. Africa has a lot of women that are pulling bold strides in the world today, right? So can we put our hands together for African women? I see you. It feels like the conference isn't even gender balanced. It feels like we have more women than men. That's because I think the revolution we need in Africa may be driven by women. So let's put our hands together for African women. Again, I've been using this time for these people to put my slides up, but I'll just start talking. Business. First part, the way we do business in Africa is bad. We have a flawed sense of what business is in Africa. And when the gentleman reached out to me to come speak, at first I said no, because I don't like speaking. You guys, there are a lot of people, right? I'd rather do my video, of which he motivated me to start, and just speak. But if we are going to fix things, if we are going to get Africa on the map, it is necessary to tell these stories. So I ran a check and I saw that in Africa, we don't have a lot of legacy businesses. What I mean by that is, if the founder drops dead today, that business would see, I'm being generous, 10 years. A lot of our businesses, if the founder dropped dead today, the business is going to fold. Maybe in the same year. If we are lucky, 2 years. We don't have businesses that transcend generations, right? We don't even have businesses, and because of that, we don't have businesses that are very old. In Nigeria, the oldest business is First Bank. How many of us know First Bank? You don't know First Bank? Joseph, you have too many Gen Zs. But sir, you know First Bank? Thank you. Somebody, tell me. Okay, you know First Bank. And the reason is, we have a systems problem in our businesses in Africa. I also ran a check to see how many businesses do we have in Africa that does more than $1 billion. I could not record up to 147 businesses, most of which were in South Africa. And that's a problem. A bit of data so that you can understand where I'm coming from. Africa has a population of about approximately 1.4 billion people, a mean age of about 19 years. Europe has about 30, 35 mean age. So it means we have younger people in Africa. Africa has a GDP of $3.1 trillion. But the thing that pained me and made me start thinking about how we could improve these things is that Apple has a market capitalization of about $3 trillion. Apple is a company, Africa is a continent. So I could not tell why a company has as much money as a continent with about 54 countries. Nigeria has a GDP, or as of today, of approximately $477 billion. It's not up to a scratch of what Apple, Amazon is doing. Then I asked myself the question, why is that? But before we go into why and how to scale business, which is what everybody's itching to hear, what really is business? I found out in Africa, we really don't understand what business is. Our understanding of business is from the fundamentals of what I would call trade. We just want to sell. You know, I have Gary, I'll give you Gary, you give me money. I think we got too used to trade by barter. So anything we think about business, it is the fundamentals on which business is built, all right. But anytime we think about Africa, we don't think of scale. What is business? Business is a system that is set up that identifies a need within a market, mobilizes resources to meet that need, but the most important part, at a profit. Some of us in Africa, we are just busy. We are calling ourselves CEOs. Nothing wrong with selling hair on Instagram, calling yourself a CEO. On your birthday, you're going to post a picture and say, happy birthday to our CEO. And then you go on the comments and say, oh, thank you very much, guys. Nothing wrong with that. If you do it, there's nothing wrong. But the most important thing is understanding the components of what a business is. Business has value. No, first, business has a market. It identifies the needs within the market, mobilizes resources, whatever the resources is, to meet that need, offers it at a price, to make profit. Anything outside that, you're not doing business. I think it's hobby, one, or maybe you are like the INGOs. They are trying to drive impact. It's very easy for Joseph to say, I'm going to do this, and I don't care because I want to drive impact. But if you're not driving impact, what makes you a business is profit. That's what keeps you in business. Then now let's talk about scale. What is scale? Simple example. If, for instance, I have identified, okay, Uber, let's use Uber, because I know we have a lot of creators, we have a lot of techies, entrepreneurs, and all of that. Uber probably started with 10 cars, right? Or 100 cars. When you say Uber is scaling, is to put the framework in place that helps it go from 100 cars to 1,000 cars, from 1,000 cars to 100,000, and the number it's doing right now. Putting that system in place, it's what it means to scale. And when you scale, what we should expect, if the most important thing that makes you a business is profit, what you should expect is that you should be more profitable when you scale. But I need to say this, it's not every business that should scale. It's okay if your business does not scale. Oh yeah, I see somebody doing their face like this. It's okay. On the other side of scale is impact on artistry. The more you start to scale your business, the more you lose some part of artistry. I'll give you an example. If you're a chef, all those people that do 10-course meals, right? 7-course meals. So many times the courses are too much, I wonder how they're able to complete them, right? Scaling that business, those kinds of people rarely scale because it's an art form. When they scale, they start to lose the components that makes the business make sense. So my sister there gave me a look when I said, it's okay if your business does not scale. I hope that addresses it. It's okay for your business not to scale. But if you choose for your business to scale, there are things that needs to be put in place for your business to scale. First, the three things that control scale in business, I call them the 3 Ps. I didn't create them. I wish I did, but I didn't. It's a basic phenomenon in management consulting. The first is people. And I'm going to say some things that I hope we leave here with. Don't forget. I currently work at Ngage Media Global. I serve as the creative director, where we are very passionate about the things I'm sharing. We hope that we'll be able to put Africa on the global table, give it a seat on the global table by promoting its people, stories, and ideas. So what I'm telling you is what we are practicing. The people component. Anytime we start a business, you must understand that the business can, how many of us run a business? You're an entrepreneur. Can I interrupt for a bit? I'll go back to what I was saying. Can you stand up, please? I want to do $1 million. I want to do $1 billion. We're breaking barriers. Somebody's saying, oh my God, $1 billion. Where do I want to start from? I'm going to do a very simple request, right? I practiced it in the office before I came. Everything I'm doing here, I practice it, don't worry. It's not. Could you help me hold the person? Everybody standing is an entrepreneur. You run a business. And you want to do $1 million. Let's start from there. She says more than that. Okay, you want to do more than $1 million. Right?
Yes.
So hold the person next to you. Yeah, hold. You can let them feel that you're holding them. Don't grip too tight, right? Because I'm looking at the men trying to. Women wear a lot of things on their hands. So if you grip too tight, there might be a problem. You are going to say this. I promise that after this conference, I will do business the right way in honor of those that came before me and for the benefit of those that will come after me. Thank you. You can sit down. That's our pledge. We are doing it not just for yourself. You are doing it for Africa. Anytime you start a business, on my slide I had, you people slide me by the way. Why did do you know, I was so emphatic on the slides. I was telling my guys, make it so fine. Because I just suspected they would put me after this man. So I just said, make it fine. And now they can't even put my slides up. I wanted to explain to us, how many of us have heard of the cash flow quadrant? And for those of us standing, please, I talk a lot, so maybe you have those cards to tell me it's time to save Africa, so I can go down. Every business, most times, especially in this part of the world, we start business from, you are a professional. In short, that's what the marketplace is about. If you are not a business person, you are a professional. You're offering value. And I think the keynote speaker mentioned that money follows value. So you start off as a professional, correct? You are working somewhere, or if you decide to start your own business, I follow her on Instagram, so I know she has that merchandise business, right? It starts from you. The idea starts from you, or you're working somewhere, you're offering value. And then you come and say, I'm not doing it again. In Nigeria, can I say something? I think the labor market in Nigeria is a terrible place. We need to improve it. Employers are wicked, employees are wicked. We are all just killing each other. We create a system of toxicity that needs to be resolved. I said it that any day I speak publicly, I will say that thing. And I've said it. We need to do better, right? Every company wants to make profits, but I don't think you should make profit at the expense of your people.
That's right.
And then everybody is looking for your own, what you are adding to bringing to the table so that they can make profits. Some people say they are the table. But what matters is that we make profit through your resources. Does that make sense? So what I was trying to say is that there's a professional. I'm a photographer. I'm a makeup artist. I'm whatever. I'm trying to stick to the creator economy, right? I'm a podcaster. And then you say, I'm going to start, I'm not doing again. I'm going to start my own business. So now I have a startup. Most times, most African businesses, let me speak Nigeria specifically. In short, let me even be more Abuja. Your business dies at that decision. I'm going to start my own business. You're not a business owner. What you are is self-employed. The difference between you, I'm checking to see if they've put the slide. The difference between you and a business owner is the presence of systems. If you doubt, you that say you're a business owner, travel from your business. That's why you can't take vacation. You have to be there every day, and it's a necessary part of the journey. But as you learn this, in entrepreneurship, when we're starting out, they say the first rule of entrepreneurship is show up. I agree. It is show up. But when you show up, set systems so that other people can show up. Then you can go and build something else. So, second part is self-employed. The third part is business owner. This guy has set up systems that can help him stay away from his business. He has systems for about everything. Operational systems, management systems, leadership systems. If you can succeed on these three levels, you can leave your business, and even if you die, your business will continue. Example, Apple. The guy is dead. How many people are using iPhones now? Like iPhone 14. Is that the latest? 14, yeah. 15 is coming, and people are queuing to buy. The power of systems. Right. So, after that, you get to a point where you're an investor. That's the last part of the quadrant, right? You can be an investor, you put in your money. Sometimes you don't even know anything about the business, you don't care about the business. Your money is just going to make more money for you, right? Oh yeah, I told you I talk a lot. Thank you. The next part is, so I've spoken about people. What's the most important thing? Get people. You must always look for people. Joseph has volunteers. That's how he's able to do this. He probably did a smaller version in Calabar. Last year was smaller, but now because he has more people, he's been able to scale. Right. So get people that get it, they understand the business, they want it, and they have capacity to do it. Those three things are very important. They get it, they want it, and they have the capacity to do it. And most importantly, get the right people in the right seats. People, don't carry a graphic designer to go and do business development. They will struggle. They will struggle. And I think as a leader, it's your business to manage the resources that you have, including human capital, right? The next part is process. We don't document a lot in Africa.
That's right.
We don't. We don't. Joseph, you've done a conference. I think it will be valuable if you can group how you executed this content and then put it out. It becomes data for somebody 10, 15 years from now. We don't have a lot of that, and it's a problem. So every time we are doing anything in Africa, we are inventing fresh. Anything we are doing. So that's the second reason why we are not able to scale in Africa. There's no blueprint. There's no data. Nothing. I'm telling you. We don't even know how much fuel we consume in a day in Nigeria. And that's the problem. We don't know how much fuel we consume. We are guessing. So every business that is going to scale needs to have processes. You have to have operational processes. What data are you tracking? How do you make payments? How do you receive payments? Where does your business requisition start? How do you process the orders that come in? How do you do this? How many days in a year are people going to go off? How many days in a year? Because one of the bad things that happen in the workplace is that in Nigeria, you can just say, I'm sick, and you just stay at home. It's only in Nigeria. like I'm sick. You just wake up and just say I'm sick. And then tomorrow you show up and you are well. Right? Processes. Then the third part is the product. That's where we focus on. My sister here, a couple of years ago, we did some activation, probably didn't know. And then we needed her to, put it in word around the environmental space. Everybody just focuses on product. So it would have been very easy for me to say, she's traveling the world, she's traveling the world, he's traveling the world. I'm just going to start doing what they are doing. So I'll create a product. But no, your product must be solving a particular problem in the market. Can I tell you that any business can make you $1 million, excess of $1 million, any business you think of. But the problem is, thank God for technology. We are not thinking of the application of technology. We are just thinking of the technology product. So everybody wants to build Uber for something. Uber for something. The food ecosystem in Nigeria, or in Africa, let me say, is over $8 billion. Food insecurity is a problem. We have insecurity, we have data problems, we have transportation, we have healthcare. There's so much money lying around. What we ought to be thinking is, how can we use technology, apply technology in these fields, and I promise you, easily $1 billion. Easily. Then, somebody's saying, but what do I do? How do I scale my business? When you put these first three things in place, then you can use technology to scale. Because technology has removed the barrier to customer acquisition. Back in the days when we are doing competition, under your business strategy, you put competition, you mention the immediate people in your thing. That's a problem now. You have to actually consider that somebody in America is your competition, because they will acquire. How many of us have met Mark Zuckerberg? How many people? Nobody. Online. Yeah, but you're his customer. He doesn't know you exist. We need to move to a place where we don't need to know that our customers exist. The only way we know is that their money is coming into our business. Does that make sense? So, technology has removed the barrier to customer acquisition. Stop stressing your friends. You start a business, you say they are not supporting you. What if I'm not your target audience? Please, what we now need to think about, 8 billion people in the world. What if I could sell something at $1 to 1 million of those 8 billion? I said 1 million, not 1 billion. 1 million of the 8 billion people, you'd have been a millionaire in dollars, easily. That's what we need to be thinking about. When you start a business, ask yourself, how can I go from 100 to 1,000? How can I go from 1,000 to 10,000 to 100,000? And that's the way to scale, my friends. So I hope that in these few points of mine, I've been able to convince you and not confuse you that the way we do business in Africa is bad and it needs to change, and change now. Thank you very much.